Morning.
It is Monday morning, and believe it or not, the Bulldogs get to play 2 home games in a row. We haven't said that in a while. Coach Tedford is here with his morning cup of coffee, ready for a new week. Coach, a big win at home on Friday night, 56-27. What was the most important thing from a team perspective that came out of that victory for you?
I think really it was about complementary football. We talked about it the night before the game of playing together and trying to put together 4 quarters of football. And, I don't think it was any more evident than this last week, being able to get 5 turnovers and capitalize on them and put them in the end zone, had 28 points off turnovers. And so it was a team effort. And really it's important to play complementary football, and play together. And that kind of came together that night.
Did you see some of the players last week were talking about, they used words like wake-up call, that they were motivated by what happened the week before at Air Force, that they wanted to go out and prove that second half there wasn't who they were. Did you feel like they proved that, and did you see a different level of focus in that game on Friday night?
No, I thought we were focused. I thought we had a good week, and guys practiced hard and were focused going into the game. I think we're normally focused going into the game, so I didn't really see any difference. Obviously, it's painful to lose a game like that at Air Force, when you can't, you don't put 4 quarters together. But that's well behind us, and college football is just so up and down, and you got to bring your A game every week. You look at so many different examples of Wisconsin and Illinois, and you look at Vanderbilt, who, Vegas had beat by 24 the week before, and then they knock off number 22 Missouri. It's just, it's so up and down, and the matchups are so different, and you really have to bring your focus and concentration every week and play hard, and it's so, last week's over, and now it's about one day at a time this week, and try to do our best to get ready to play a good Colorado State football team.
And I know you're focused forward, but you mentioned some of those other scores, and another couple that caught my eye were Air Force going to Hawaii and dominating there with their 3rd-string quarterback, at least at the start of the year. And Sac State now has beaten 2 top 10 FCS teams in a row by handy margins. You ever see scores like that and it changes the way you feel about something that's in your rearview mirror?
Not really. I mean, I think when you look at Air Force, they really should have beat Navy. Air Force is a very difficult team to stop offensively, of course, and they're really good on defense, and so they're a quality football team. I think I said it after the Sac State game that I felt like they had a really strong season ahead of them, that they were a really good team, and they're proving it. And I think Sac State's going to, I don't know what their health situation is, but if they stay healthy, they're going to be tough to beat.
So Saturday afternoon, Colorado State is here. They too have had to go to a second quarterback because of another ACL injury for Colin Hill. But O'Brien has some serious receivers to throw to, doesn't he? He's got a big guy. He's got a quick guy. What do you see when you watch their offense on film?
There's a lot of weapons. They're really balanced. They have the leading rusher in the conference, rushed for over 100 yards a game. The quarterback's very efficient. I think he's 3rd in the conference in pass efficiency. You mentioned weapons. He's got the big receiver, number 5, who big, physical, can go get the ball. 22's, got a lot of speed. So there's a lot of weapons there, and a big physical offensive line, and they're very well coached. And they're very explosive on offense, and you need to try to slow them down.
We saw the impact of the move with Michael Walker going back down and Bailey stepping in at linebacker. They both had very productive games. Is that something we should continue to see, or is Michael's versatility going to continue to move him around throughout the season?
Well, we move him around quite a bit, and that's really our job is to try to put our players in a position to be successful. And I thought Michael did a great job of. He moved around in that game too. He just didn't play on the edge. He moved around. He was inside. He was all over. So just try to put him in a position where we can be most successful.
Who'd like to ask Coach a question?
Can you just talk on the improvement of your freshmen? I know you have started 5 so far this season, so just what have you seen out of them so far?
Yeah, I think each week, with experience, it's one of those things where you learn from each time out. And, when you're a young guy and then the different teams that you play and the different game plans that go on, it's not like you're playing the same. It's not like at practice where you're playing against the same offense every day. Things change, and so all those lessons are learned. But the guys are competing well, and they are young. But each week there's a new game plan, so it's not like it's the same thing every single week. And so there's a lot of learning involved, and then obviously the physical challenges of just knowing angles on which angles to take and I told the team yesterday, I said, to look at the tape and to look if you had another chance to do something, if you had another opportunity to make that play, what would you do differently? Because I think that's what's important is you learn from every opportunity you get. And with all the young guys we have playing, there's a lot of learning going on.
And can you talk on Rice? He leads second in the conference in tackles, and maybe just how I guess Fred Knight's performance is kind of like a statement, like, hey, fear this defense.
Yeah, he did a good job. It's on defense, it's really all of them playing together. It's the defensive line keeping linemen off of the backers, and he's playing well, and and Mosby in there as well. When you take a look at it, you have 3 linebackers that really didn't play last year, and they're all 3 new at the position because Mosby was a safety before. Rice was a running back, and then you have a freshman in Bailey. It's every week out, so something a little bit different, but they play hard, and that's what we need. But Rice is doing a good job in there.
Coach, a follow-up question on Rice. He was named the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week today. How exciting is that for the entire team to be able to share in that honor, and how deserved do you feel that was?
Well, he played well. He had 10 tackles and obviously scooped the ball and scored a touchdown. And, so it's always nice when any of your teammates get recognition like that. But that's in the rearview mirror now, and it's more about what we're doing going forward and what type of practice we have tomorrow and moving forward through the week. And, those things are nice, but right now it's after the fact and we need to move on.
I asked you yesterday about homecoming. How do you avoid the distractions of homecoming for this team to just be able to focus on the game on Saturday?
Yeah, we'll talk about it, and we talk always about staying free of distractions. Like last week, it was a Friday, and so didn't really know what to expect because there's a lot of things going on around here. It's business as usual around campus for the other students and administration and everything that goes on in this building, and so it was important to stay focused on what we needed to do. And the message will be the same this week. I'm not sure that they really take part. They're not a part of homecoming, but there'll be, I think more than anything, it should create some more energy. I don't really think they take part in that. So it's exciting for the people coming back, for the alumni. It's an opportunity for people to get back together and kind of relive the memories of their college days and take pride in their university. And, so I think it's a special time for the alumni and the people coming, but the football team is more, locked into what's going on right here in this building and on the football field.
Coach, you started with Bula at left guard, finished with Jace Fuamatu. Can you evaluate their performances at that position?
Yeah, both young guys, both first time out, and both competed well, and we'll continue through practice this week and see how it goes this week, and may continue to see the same thing of those guys trading in and out. We just have to see how the game progresses and how they're doing and what the week of practice looks like.
Also saw some back and forth at cornerback between Chris Coleman and Randy Jordan. Was that an injury with Chris, or was it performance-based there?
No, it's just an opportunity to get Randy into the game, and again, Chris is learning out there, and and so another opportunity for him to get out there and play in a new position, and so it's no different than any other position. Well, let me take that back. It is different than any other position, because if you're a left guard and you make a mistake, nobody sees it. When you're out on an island like that, it's a little bit different. So, but Chris has a lot of ability, and but it was nice to get Randy into the game and get him. He's another true freshman that's playing, and so it was nice to get him some experience.
Is there any update if you might get Gaston or Ruffin back anytime soon?
Ruffin's out for the year. Gaston will be week to week.
Gotcha. You'd also mentioned before the season Kwame Jones would be one you'd evaluate around mid-season. Is there any indication if he might be able to return?
Yeah, I think he's moving along well. It's been a long recovery for him, but I think he's getting better each day, and so that's another week-to-week situation to where not only does he go through rehab, it's not just about that, but then you got to get into football shape and all that type of stuff. And so, but he's making progress, and we'll see how it comes in the near future here. See what happens this week, and but hopefully he's back at some point this year.
You spoke on Colorado State's offense. How about their defense? What have you seen from that unit?
They're good players. They play hard, and they're physical. They're number one in the conference in pass defense. So they play really hard. They're physical inside and have good team speed on defense. And so it's a team that's well balanced. And so we have our hands full.
Any other questions for Coach?
So Colorado State defense number one in passing defense. So how did you like that now going in there that you had 6 rushing touchdowns last week and were able to get some different guys the ball? How does that kind of help prepare you then for this week?
Well, we asked questions about last week, and I have to make it clear again. They're different teams every week. You don't play the same schemes. The schemes you go up against are totally different from week to week. You never face the same team twice. Well, I take that back. One year we played Boise twice, back to back. But typically you don't. And so the matchups are different. The people are different. The schemes are different. So it really doesn't matter what happened last week for us. It's about how we can put a plan together for Colorado State. They had a bye week last week, so they had extra time to prepare for us and probably get a little bit healthy. So it just really how the game plan matches up on how we match up against them, both schematically and as personnel.
One thing you got to do in this game is get some reps for a lot of guys who don't always get game time reps, including a couple running backs who hadn't carried the ball yet this year. Is it hard to gauge because of the point of the game, the score, and who they're up against? Or do you see, for instance, Savion Johnson's runs and say maybe he's earned an opportunity to carry the ball a little more?
It's hard. There's only one football on the field, and you can only get so many guys into the game. And Ronnie and Hokut are our guys, and it's, if you add a third back in there, then all of a sudden the question is going to be, can you get Hokut the ball more? Why didn't Ronnie get the ball more? Or whatever. There's only one football, and same with the receivers. Why doesn't this receiver get the ball more? Or that receiver get the ball more? And it's just, we just have to do what we think we need to do to try to be successful. It was nice. It's nice to be able to get those guys who work hard in practice, it's really nice to give them opportunities to touch the ball in those situations. You know, and so I was happy, you know, Savion had a real good carry there, and Zion had a couple carries, and you know, so it's nice to get a lot of those guys who work so hard every single day in practice to be able to get into the game.
And you haven't played Colorado State since you've been here at Fresno State. Coach Bobo's played Fresno State a couple times. What do you know of him, and can you see a Mike Bobo signature, perhaps, in the way that Colorado State plays? Do you see that when you watch a team? Do you get a feel for who their head coach is, or see a reflection of him in their play?
Well, what I've known about Colorado State for a long, long time, it was evident back in the day when we played them when I was here before, played them a time or two at Cal, but they're always very physical. But Coach Bobo's offense is very balanced. You know, they do a lot of really good things. They're very sound in what they do. They're very explosive. You know, so he's got a great offensive mind, and they do a great job. And you know, I've only known him, you know, through a couple of the head coaching meetings that we've had, and I think he's a great guy. You know, but yeah, you look at their team, and their team plays hard, and you know, but very diverse on offense. You know, I think he has an excellent offensive mind, and they really do a nice job of staying balanced and making you stop the run and being able to pull it out and throw it over your head, and you know, things like that. So, and they have weapons to do it.
I know you're big about staying focused on what's right in front of you, 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, 1 play at a time. What would it look like to you to see this team build? What would a stepping stone or you know, another notch on the belt be for this team on Saturday? What are you watching for to know that this team's heading in the right direction?
Well, what we always look for, you know, I mean, it's not turning the football over, trying to create turnovers, you know, tackling well, blocking well at the line of scrimmage, you know, being smart, being disciplined, you know, not getting penalized, playing complementary football. You know, it's no different each week of what we look for. We look for the basics that really are important to try to have a chance to win games. And, you know, so, you know, not let big plays go by us. And, you know, it's the same thing each and every week. It just happens to be against different opponents every week. The challenges are a little different from week to week in all phases of the game, you know. So that's why you have to practice so hard. That's why you have to prepare, because you're not, you know, it's so different from week to week what you have to play in this conference for sure, you know. And so it's no different this week. You know, you have to be able to stop the run. That's where it all starts. And then from there, be able to hopefully put some pressure on a passer and not let big plays go by you, and be able to not turn the football over offensively and convert on third down. And when you get in the red zone, put it in the end zone. And, you know, I mean, those are all the things that are really formulas to be successful. But each week it's a challenge.
All right, we'll let Coach go this time.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's Coach Jeff Tedford. His Bulldogs have their homecoming game Saturday, 4:30, Bulldog Stadium, against the Rams of Colorado State. The Rams are 2-5, the Dogs 3-3. Fresno State 1-1 in Mountain West Conference play. They're one of just 2 teams in the West Division with a single loss. San Diego State, the other one. The Aztecs are down the road a few weeks. This week, it's the Rams of Colorado State, and we'll talk more about it with Tony Diodato when we come back on the home of the Bulldogs, 940 ESPN.